Hi everyone, welcome. We're so excited to have you with us today for this exclusive webinar on 361 Silver ETFs. To guide us through the session, we have Mr. Rahul Khetawat, the fund manager at 361 Asset. He's a seasoned investment professional with expertise in commodities, ETFs, and asset management. His deep understanding of precious metals and global markets makes him the perfect expert to discuss why is silver gaining traction in the investment world today, right? So he will be sharing his insights on why silver ETFs are a game changer and how investors can maximize returns while minimizing risks. So before we start off, so would you like to add anything?
Oh, let's start.
Okay, sure. So
Yeah.
let's understand silver as an investment, right? So let's start off with why should investors consider silver as a part of their portfolio? And मतलब gold के साथ ये compare कैसे करता है?
So basically, how does it works is it has a very low correlation with the traditional asset classes. We are well aware with the equities and debt, and it's a still the gold and the silver is a lesser popular alternative investment products, and they have a very low correlation with equities and debt. So in the time of market downturn, like current scenario where the market has corrected from top, and we have a global uncertainty, high interest rates, and high global debt. So what we have seen is in the past is it does well in all these scenarios, and we have data backing also. Like if you see the event in the time of COVID, it made a low of 34,000. From there, it is now trading at 1 lakh rupees. It is like more or less like 3x from lows. So we have lots of event from COVID, like COVID, then wars, then high inflation, then high interest rate, and then again America is struggling on certain aspects of the economy. So it has done very well, and at par, in a way it's a perfect strategy for perfect product for a portfolio diversification or asset allocation. And one should always allocate some part of the portfolio to the sell.
Okay. Okay, but here, right, silver is often seen as like an inflation hedge and a safe haven asset. I know you did touch a little bit about this in my last question, but how does it perform during market uncertainties and economic downturns? Could you like go a little more in detail and explain that?
Yeah, actually, what we have seen is it is still very less popular like gold, which is more popular asset. And whenever we see the market downturn or uncertainty, people or investor prefer to buy gold rather than silver. So, but what we have seen is silver is a cheaper version of the gold only. It is pegged to the gold in a ratio. With traditional, that ratio is around 71 to 75. Currently trading at 91. So it makes a silver cheaper than gold. And if I'll explain the gold silver ratio, it is nothing but the how many ounces of silver is required to buy a 1 ounce of gold. So traditionally that ratio is, since the gold is silver is also pegged in with gold in a ratio. So it has a very high correlation with the gold. So whenever gold performs, silver also performs. But there are chances where it may perform lesser sometimes, but it has performed. And someone who wants to allocate to the gold can allocate some amount to silver also, and he can get a higher allocation because the price is much cheaper than gold. So
Right.
tradition now the countries and the investors are started recognizing. So it is also an asset to be looked at during the market crisis or economic downturn or uncertainties. So countries like Russia has also started buying the silver in for the reserves to protect the currency fluctuation and all. And also the global ETF flows are also increasing rapidly. And even in India, we have seen ETFs are like getting attraction. So from lows from 1,000 crore to we are now at 15,000 crores of AUM. So it is a great asset to have in a portfolio, and it is like at par with gold, and which is because it is pegged with a ratio. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And with increasing industrial demand for silver and green energy and EVs and all of that, how do you see its long-term investment potential?
It is an added advantage for the silver. Unlike gold, where the users are largely from financial participants like central banks, ETFs, investment, and it is a rarely it is used in, it is largely used in jewelry and only in the, or in the investment products. And unlike gold, silver is used in industrial, as an industrial metal also, where the 50% of production is going into the industry. So like semiconductors, EV batteries, solar panels are the emerging uses of the silver, and which is increasing the demand for the silver. So it gives you the comfort and the cushion of man makes a compelling asset where the users are coming from both the industry and the investment fraternity. So in a way, we are expecting a good demand. We are run as per, there's a association which maintain the data of the Silver Institute. So they recently come up with a report where they said we are running a deficit of a silver in a fifth consecutive year.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a great data to have to look at, and it is underperform a gold. So,
Damn.
but yeah, so that way it's a good asset to have.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So, now if you could tell me, what are some of the key benefits of investing in the 361 silver ETFs compared to physical silver or silver futures and stuff like that?
So ETFs are the very generic products and a very simple product. So where we are not, so there's very less human intervention or some, because they don't time the market. The products are designed in a way not to time the market. Make as and when we get a flow, we invest in the market. So and it is a very cheaper version, cheaper products, very cost efficient, tax efficient. So usually, whenever you buy whenever an investor or a family maker buy a silver from a jeweler, or what are the traditional ways of buying a silver? Basically, that jewelers through jewelers. So there, what we have seen is people don't get a purities. There is always a issue in the purity, weight, and keeping a silver at home is also a risky in a way. So
Yeah.
it solve all the problem of an investor or a homemaker. So it makes you don't no need to keep it at home. It is a no holding cost, no risk of impurities. You get a very transparent pricing, and you can hold it for a very long period. And
Okay.
now the taxation is also at par with equities. If you hold it for more than 12 months, it comes under the long-term capital gain. If you hold it for less than 12 months, then it is taxed at your tax slab. So again, it makes it a very convenient product to have.
Right. Okay. Speaking of transparency, could you shed some more light on what factors influence its price movements?
So like we discussed earlier, the factors are industrial demand, demand from the central banks, demand from the investor, and it is a peg with the ratio in with the gold. So as soon as the gold moves, you also seen that there's a significant amount of movement in the silver prices also. So it is largely all across the spectrum we have usually, and it is a rare asset which usually perform in both the cycles of the market. Whenever there's an economic uncertainty, since it is backed with gold, it perform. And whenever economies are growing, all countries are doing good, then we see a demand from industrial side of the. So in a way, it is a commodity which has both the characteristic to perform.
Right. Okay. So what is the cost structure of investing in this ETF, right? How does it compare to other silver investment options?
So like first of all, you can't, if somebody wants to invest in a bulk, you can't buy a physical silver and keep it at home. It's a very inconvenient, risky, and that makes it a very costly proposition also, because there's a risk of theft involved into it.
Hmm.
If you use a silver ETF to invest, it makes you a cost efficient in a way, because you can keep increasing the allocation. You can keep any an amount of silver in form of, because you're just parking your silver in your Demat account.
Yep.
It's a So holding cost is also very low, because you're just paying a fees, which is then a professional team is managing your money, and low, even no risk of theft. So in a way, it's a very transparent and easy vehicle. If one wants to invest in silver, he should look at.
Right. Makes sense. So let's talk about investment strategy and market timing, right? Silver prices have been a little volatile recently. Is this a good time for investors to, enter the market through a silver ETF? What do you think?
Actually, you'll have to look at it as a asset allocation. So for asset allocation, it is always the right time. If you are doing something for an asset allocation, it is always the right time to diversify your portfolio. You should not try to time the market. Rather, you should try to time your asset allocation in a way. You should. So it is always the right time because you are allocating just 5 to 10% of your portfolio to this instrument, and it is as the industry uses also, industrial uses also. Now we are having a some high inflation, a low growth kind of scenario, but still it is performing. And when the things will normalize and the industry or economies will start performing again, then you will see it will again perform. There may be some correction or here and there, but you should not in a gives investment, you should not try to time it. And every time is a good time for these kind of products.
Yeah. Uh, Also, how does silver's low correlation with equities and debt help in portfolio diversification? And what allocation percentage do you recommend with this?
So you usually recommend 10 to 15% of your portfolio should go to the precious metal. So in a precious metal, you can again further divide into two, gold and silver. So equal weightage can be given to both the assets, and it has a very low correlation traditionally with the gold with the equities and debt. But in a past, in like if you'll see the last 5 year scenario where it has performed along with the equity market because it has an emerging uses of the it has an emerging industrial application also. So though it is a low correlation, but it is performed with equity or in the recent past. So we
Okay.
usually suggest you can half of your precious metal allocation can go to the silver. That is the right way of doing it.
Okay. Got
Yeah.
it. So, what are the key risks investors should be aware of before investing in a silver ETF? What do you think?
So generally, all the ETF has the same sort of. It is not specific to the product. So like one should always look at the tracking error of the ETF and what kind of fee structure the fund has and what is the liquidity available in the in the scheme in the fund. So usually we have a team. We have a few great market makers. So those who provide the liquidity. So that is how we are mitigating the risk of liquidity and the tracking error. So these are the key risks basically you can look at it before investing in the ETFs.
Okay. So now let's talk about a little bit of a practical aspect of this. So what is the process of buying and selling units of the 361 silver ETF post NFO, and how liquid is the fund in the secondary market?
So basically post NFO, it's a very simple. It is like buying a it is like buying a equity shares. So you should just have a Demat account and a trading account with a broker, and where our product is listed on both BSE and NSE, and fairly liquid counter, and decent volume is happening. So you just need to go and place an order with a broker to buy the units. One unit you can buy, and one unit is let's at around 87 rupees. So it's a very flexibility. It gives you the flexibility of buying in any amount,
Yeah.
and it gets settled at T+1 basis and get credited to your Demat account. So you can keep on accumulating the units gradually. So that is how it works. Post an effort, it's very simple.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
That's all the questions that I had for today. Do you want to add something else?
So I would like to say it is don't try to time the silver allocation strategy. It's a long gestation product. In a long run, you can make a significant amount of wealth from this investment strategy, and don't try to time it. That is what I would like to say. So don't people may think it is a price is very high, it is already run up. It happens all the time. Price go up and crashes. But as you accumulate, what will happen in this process? You will accumulate the unit at all the prices, and it will average out, and you will not miss the opportunity, which is very big.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, sir, and thank you everyone for attending. We hope you found today's discussion on 361 Silver ETF insightful. A huge thank you, sir, for sharing your expertise on why silver is an essential investment for the future. Right, so some of the key takeaways here was silver ETFs offer low cost effective, liquid, and secure investing. The metal's role in EVs, solar energy, and inflation hedging is growing. Silver can play a key role in portfolio diversification. So stay tuned for more insightful webinars like this. And thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.